Hi, my friends. I'm so excited to see so many people. Look at you guys on the ball. I love it. All right, you guys, I'm super, super excited to have you here. Let's give it a minute and let everyone pop in. If you guys, while you are connecting here, if you can do me a quick favor and just drop your name in the chat there, let me know where you're listening from. It's nice to see so many new faces on here today. I'm super excited. Yeah, so just drop your name, drop me where you're from in the chat, and then let me know whether you're doing either one of these nutrition programs. So whether you're following Portion Fix, whether you're following the 2B mindset, and then we'll get kicked off in just one more minute or so, okay?
Unmute.
There you are.
My mic was off. I need to turn that on.
That's good. Someone named iPhone. What's your name, iPhone? Who are you? Lisa's laughing at me. I see you. Is it you? Oh my gosh, it's Lisa. There's another iPhone though, two of you with the same name. That's okay. Very cool. All right, you guys, we have so much information that we are just like bursting at the seams to share with you today. I see some of you dropping your names in the comments. If you're just jumping on now, make sure you drop your name in the chat. Let me know your name. Let me know where you're from. And let me know whether you're following either one of these nutrition programs, because it's nice to hear what people are doing and what's working. All right. So I've got Tammy, I've got Candace. Thanks, girl. Thanks for checking in. Okay. So this is super exciting for me because we have lots of people from lots of different avenues on this call tonight. We have a lot of my girls from my team. We've got some people from other teams. We've got some people from my upline, my sideline, all sorts of people. Some people who aren't even part of our community yet, who are just kind of dipping their toes in to see what this is all about. So we are going to start from the very basics here and review all of this before we get kicked off into what Ashleigh has to share with us. So first of all, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Steph Bollier. I've been coaching for about 4 years now. Is it 4 years? Yeah, 4 years now. And I dove into this hardcore right after the birth of my twins. So I had twin girls in 2015, and my life had turned into a complete gong show. I was just like living in this life that I did not recognize. It was, oh, do I see Laura on here? Laura's a new twin mom. I'm so excited. Laura is a hardcore twin mom, NICU twin mom still. Anyways, so I dove into this community when my twins were 6 weeks old. I was like, I can work out, let me have at her, because I needed to grasp onto any sort of control that I could find in my life in that season. And at that point in my life, I just needed someone to tell me what to do, what to eat, when to eat it, and done, right? I didn't have any energy to spend on thinking or processing. I just needed to know what would work. And for me, that was the container system. So for some of you on here, I know we have some people who are not familiar with Beachbody, so let me give you a super brief description of what we do as a community. We provide health and fitness solutions for people of every different walks of life. So we provide the fitness aspect, which is our Netflix of workout videos. We have unlimited access to thousands of workouts anywhere you have internet access. And then we also have the nutrition component, and that's what we're really going to dive into today, because there are sort of two avenues of the nutrition programs, one that is much more commonly known than the other, but both that are phenomenal, and both that work really well as well. Okay, so the first most common nutrition program that we have is something called the Portion Fix. Now, the Portion Fix is a super easy to follow program where you're given a certain number of containers, or it's a volume amount per food category. So you're allowed to eat certain number of vegetables in a day, and a certain number of fruits in a day, and a certain number of proteins and healthy fats and carbs and that type of thing. It is extremely easy to follow. It's extremely efficient. You get great results super fast, and people love this program. This is how I was able to drop 80 pounds in 9 months after my twins were born. It's like no joke. Okay. And this is what most of my customers and my coaches start with when they come on board as well. So it works really, really well. And before we dive into any other option, I want to kind of preface by saying that this is still an amazing program. Portion Fix is still a fantastic program. It's going to work very well for you, but I do want to draw attention to the fact that there is another alternative out there, and that is the 2B mindset. And that's what we're going to hear from Ashleigh about today. 2B mindset is brand new to me. I will, full disclosure, let you know that this is something I had never really done before. I signed up for it last week just to kind of get a head start on my team. And I can't even tell you how much like my mind is blown already in one short week of learning about this program. I have been hearing for the past 2 months, ever since quarantine really, from all of my coaches and customers saying, I'm struggling with nutrition. I'm struggling with nutrition and I'm feeling deprived. I wish I could have that popsicle with my daughter. I wish that I could have that, extra glass of wine. I wish that I could have this, but I feel restricted. And I was hearing such a common theme from all of the people on my team that I felt super compelled to explore this other nutrition program, which is when I reached out to Ashleigh, because Ashleigh is someone that I'm so lucky to have met through this community. She's part of a kind of a sister team of mine, and she is just like number one, the sweetest, most genuine person like ever. So to see her succeed in something like this is just like so amazing for me. So first of all, let me introduce Ashleigh. There she is there. And Ash, why don't you tell me a little bit about kind of your life before Beachbody and before you joined this team?
Okay. Well, hi, ladies. I don't know if there's any gentlemen on tonight, but I don't think so. But hello. So I would say my journey started 10 years ago. I really started getting into health and fitness and making fitness a real priority in my life, watching what I was eating as well and dropping, weight and feeling good about myself. And then 3 years ago, kind of hit rock bottom as I got diagnosed with a pretty major mental illness, so bipolar. So I basically spent the last 3 years on the couch, feeling sorry for myself, being lazy, convincing myself that it was okay that I was putting on weight and not doing anything, and totally lying to myself, but making me feel like it was normal. And then February 1st is when I heard about Beachbody and decided to say enough was enough, because I needed to do something mentally as well as physically. Like I was just, wasting away basically. So that's when I started, February 1st. And when I joined, I knew I needed a nutrition program as well. I put on 50 pounds in 3 years. So, and with my past experience with exercise, I knew that nutrition is a huge part of it. And to see results, then you need to, nip it in the bud and really sort of focus on nutrition as well as working out. For me, working out's the easy part. So nutrition is more of an effort for sure. So that's my story in a nutshell. And
that's so amazing. And like, thank you for sharing that with us, because I find we live in a day and age where everyone looks so perfect and everyone tells the perfect story, but to hear you kind of get vulnerable about that and really share like the why of why you started is it's a huge impact for sure. So you mentioned that you kind of dove into the nutrition with the physical aspect as well. Like what were some of the workout programs that you started with? Like how did you ease into this?
I was referred by my coach to try T25 to start out with, and I loved it. Like Shaun T is awesome, and I built so much strength and endurance I did the 3 stages of his program, so I think it was 14 weeks total, and So I haven't been doing Beachbody for very long, but that was the only program I've completed I finished completely, and then now I'm 3 weeks into bar blend, which I love. So
Awesome. Awesome. T25 is like my soulmate workout. It's like what I did when my twins were 6 weeks old. Like
I
it's
love
what I
it.
always go back to. I love it. I love him. I love everything about it. That's a whole conversation for another time though. Okay, so if you were to describe 2B mindset, because I'm sure you can do a much better job of it than I can at this point, how would you describe this nutrition program to someone who knows nothing about it?
Basically, 2B mindset is a lifestyle. It's not a diet. I don't treat it like a diet. I don't measure out my portions. I don't count calories. The only thing I'm watching is when I make dressings or sauces that I measure olive oil and things like that. But other than that, it's basically you're eyeing up it's called the plate it rule. So you're eyeing up your portions of everything that you're allowed to eat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner on your plate. And once you follow that, and you've got the rules and the ideas down pat, like it's super easy. Like
so instead of actually measuring in like volume wise, you're looking at it more of like an eye, like just eyeing it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just visual. So they break down your different food groups on the plate as in quarters. So either a quarter of protein or half a plate of veggies or 3/4 of a plate of veggies, a quarter FFCs, which are fiber-filled carbohydrates. So you can eat carbs on this for breakfast and lunch, which is great. Because I still I'm a huge carb eater, so that's nice that you're not cutting out carbs completely. And then lots and lots of water. Make sure you always have your water first. And yeah, like you can fill your plate. Like I've cooked whole heads of cauliflower at night and eaten that with some protein for dinner, and it's totally fine. And I've had a weight loss day the next day.
So you're not feeling restricted in terms of like still being hungry after your meals or in between meals? Like, do you ever feel like you wish you had more?
You're allowed snacking. It's limited. I try not to because I do want to see more results than just maintaining, but you're allowed a snack in the afternoon. They suggest veggies first, so go for some carrots, some celery, or cut up pepper or anything you might have. If you're still hungry after that, try a little protein, maybe some yogurt or cottage cheese, or a rolled up piece of deli turkey, something like that. And then if you're still hungry, like a piece of fruit, or something that's fiber rich.
Okay. So this kind of ties into my next question then. So like what would a typical day of meals look like for you? Like what today, for example, like what did you eat today?
Shakeology is totally friendly on this plan, and I'm addicted to my shakes. So in the morning, I typically have a shake. But the plate it rule for breakfast is half a plate of protein and half a plate of fiber-filled carbohydrates. So in my shake, I add a little bit more Greek yogurt as well as some milk as well to add even more protein, which I don't really need to. And then maybe some fruit, or even my newest go-to is butternut squash. It's so good.
Nice.
But if it was on a plate, like you could have eggs and toast with a little bit of butter. You could have eggs and fruit. You could have overnight oats. I make those often. So lots of variety for breakfast. For lunch, it's typically usually a salad just because it's quick and dirty, but like 2B has a really amazing one that's it's almost like an Asian inspired coleslaw with tuna and apple, and it's so delicious. So at lunch, the plate it rule is a quarter of your plate is protein, a quarter of your plate is fiber filled carbohydrates, and a half of your plate is veggies. So veggies can be cooked, can be raw, can be in a salad, can be whatever you want. So And then, yeah, and then dinner, like I said, I typically try not to snack, but, you know, I might have, you know, some cut up carrots or something like that for a snack. And then for dinner, it's quarter protein and 3/4 veggies. So, and you can load up your plate with veggies and you can still have a salad on the side. You just have to watch how much olive oil you're putting in your dressing. And basically that's like, you can eat a lot. And I do.
So I feel like my biggest concern before I started looking into this, and this is like a completely uneducated concern that I had, was I felt like I knew it would be a lot of veggies, but I felt like, to me, I hear veggies and I hear plain veggies, like just plain cooked or raw, but plain. And so when I started diving into this and I heard of the whole concept of accessories, my mind was like blown, like blown. Can you tell the girls what accessories are on this plan and what some examples are?
Yeah, well, basically every sauce and accessory, like everything that you use now as sort of a side is pretty much as you know, a condiment on the side is allowed in this program. They suggest, you know, more of a sugar-free option and a ketchup, so I don't eat a lot of ketchup, but soy sauce, low sodium version, olive oil you can have, avocados are an accessory. You can have a quarter of a day, I think they recommend. What else is an accessory? Any sort of marinades that you put on your meat so you can make them like flavorful. Salad dressings, my go-to is a homemade balsamic vinaigrette with olive oil, balsamic vinegar, Dijon, and like I load in the Dijon mustard like it's nobody's business. And
I love that.
yeah.
I love that. So basically accessories are just things that are going to get you eating more vegetables,
that makes the
right?
foods taste delicious. Yeah.
And that's where I feel like a lot of people feel really restricted in some of the other plans, is that there's a black and white list of what's allowed and what's not allowed. And we feel like if we're not in the allowed column, then we all of a sudden are off track, and that opens up a whole other wheelhouse for cravings and binging and all of that crazy stuff. So that's really amazing that you're allowed to dress up your vegetables. Like, it makes it more doable to eat 3/4 of a plate of vegetables if you're actually making them taste fun and flavorful. That's really cool. Awesome. What would you say to someone who's on the fence, who is like a chronic yo-yo dieter? What would you say to someone like myself? Like, I'm so transparent with my story. Like, my weight goes up and down. I'm on the containers or I'm off the containers, right? Like, it's like super, like that's just been my jam for so long. So what would you say to someone who is in that boat of like the yo-yo dieting, the on track versus off track kind of ups and downs?
Yeah, I would say that it's a lifestyle, so it's not a diet that people are used to, where they're forced to be counting calories or counting points or you know, putting things, even like you said, in a container and just having that always as your back of the mind go-to. But this is just when you freshen it up a bit and invite something new and like fun into your routine. I think it helps completely, as well as the fact that it's so easy to follow, and really it doesn't feel like a diet. Like, I still track in my tracker, but every day, like, I don't have to wonder about what I'm gonna eat. I know exactly, you know, what my plates are gonna look like. And I knew this from pretty early on. It was very easy to follow and to gain success on because of that. So, and now people say, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm following a nutrition plan, but it's like, it's just a healthy way of eating. And you can lose weight and you can maintain on it really, really well. So just a good all around lifestyle to learn, to follow, to give you guidelines for, you know, for years ahead. So
it's teaching you new habits rather than just like putting a band-aid on the old behaviors,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
And that's what I feel like so many people, like I know I can only speak for my team, but so many of you on this call right now have reached out to me with these concerns, like I don't know why, I just can't do it. So Ashleigh just brought up a really good point, and I wanted to show a couple things to you guys, and that is the concept of tracking. So although to be mindset is something where you're training your mindset to kind of visualize things as opposed to be concretely measuring things out, I wanted to sort of compare and contrast the two different ways of tracking, because you do still track in 2B mindset. But for those of us that are used to the portion fix containers, our trackers look kind of something like this. So you've got different colors on the top, and then you kind of mark down how many containers you have. Some of us have this tracking book here where every meal you track your containers that you're eating. That's kind of an example of how to track the portion fix container system. This tracker, I just broke this bad boy open, and you guys, like, I'm a visual person. I can maybe send you guys a better image, but let me show you this. Can you see that? Okay, so this is an example of the plate it method. So it has the plate broken up into what food groups you should be eating at each different meal. And it not only has like the percentages, but it has little pictures there, little samples of what the foods are. So like she was saying, and this is brilliant, someone asked, what is a plate? And maybe Ashleigh, you can kind of elaborate on that. But for example, breakfast is 50% protein, 50% fiber-filled carbs. Lunch is 50% veggies, 25% protein, 25% fiber-filled carbs. Snacks, they have kind of the same 50, 25, 25. And then dinner is 75% veggies, 25% protein. So Ash, what happens if, for example, like I ate according to this, like to a T today, and I had no issues at all. I was like super satisfied all day. But what happens if after someone's lunch, they feel like they're still hungry?
It's totally fine. They even say like, they just want you to track everything that you put in your mouth. So if you're still hungry, go for more, have more veggies first, hopefully to help fill you up. If not, go for some more protein. And finally, like pick another carbohydrate that you can eat to help fill you up, but you're allowed and you can eat whatever you want. They just encourage you to track it so that you can figure out the next day when you do, weigh yourself and figure out what the day prior had given you, why maybe it was a weight gain day, or why didn't you lose today? And well, you can go back in your tracker and you can really find out all the answers that you need, like right there. So that's super helpful.
And I think that that's a really good concept too, because so many of us have been trained to either not use the scale or only use the scale once a week. And the scale is kind of, turned into this negative tool, whereas with 2B mindset, you're using it as an educational tool to figure out if what you did yesterday worked, right? I'm just trying to look at some of the questions. So nuts, nut butter, seeds, those are all accessories.
Accessories.
Yeah. So it's not. So I know when I am using the containers, like, my God, I space that little blue container out, and I make sure that I really enjoy that blue container because I love those healthy fats. In 2B mindset, they're actually accessories. So you're actually allowed to have them as long as you're tracking how many, whether it's a tablespoon of sunflower seeds like I had on my dinner tonight, as long as you're tracking them, they're totally accessories. Another question is, would it work for vegetarian? Totally works for vegetarian. And in fact, the protein video that I watched this morning that comes with this talks all about vegetarian options. I know, Megan, that's a big thing for you. So totally tons of options for vegetarians. And she actually addresses that in the protein video.
Yeah. How would this work? Sorry, just I'm gonna interrupt. I put edamame beans on my salad tonight, and it was yummy. So
good. Yeah. So good. How would this work for a program like 80 Day Obsession where there's a timed nutrition and you're eating certain containers? Yeah, I would think it's kind of an either or question, because with 80 Day Obsession, you're doing containers, but you're doing specific combos of containers at certain times. So you'd have to look at what the 80-day suggestions are versus this. You might find that they're actually pretty similar. It wouldn't surprise me if the ratios were the same. You didn't mention fruit. You want to take that one, Ash?
Yeah, fruit is also a fiber-filled carbohydrate. So at breakfast and at lunch, they recommend it. That's all part of your plate. They want to see it on your plate, either fruit or a fiber-rich bread or oatmeal or things like that. So yeah, definitely fruit for breakfast and lunch. I'm game almost every day. So
awesome. It's so strange to think of fruit in the same category as bread, but it's all about the fiber content.
And the sugar,
yeah. Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much, Ashleigh, for kind of like telling us your story. Like I was like doing crash course trying to figure this all out, but I knew it would be so much better to just hear it from someone who has lived it. And I totally appreciate your time and kind of just sharing you and what works for you and how it may work for us. I have a couple of, let me see if I can screen share here. I have a couple of images that I wanted to share with you. Screen share tends to be a bit wonky on this computer. Let me see. Can you guys see this? Can someone give me a thumbs up there? Can you see my screen? Anybody? Oh, Megan, okay, perfect. Okay, so I found this graphic and I found it really simple to kind of compare the two. So this is for people who know, currently using Portion Fix. It compares the two. So external controls like physically measuring containers, taking the thinking out of it, literally just measuring and going and eating, versus 2B Mindset is more like an internal control, like looking, eyeballing. It's more flexible in the sense that there's no foods off limit, whereas the Fix has a little bit more of a structured guidelines, behavioral guidelines on the 2B, portioned eating for Portion Fix versus volume eating on 2B Mindset, and then container-based versus eyeball method. And something that I read earlier today as well that was really important in this aspect is if you're someone who struggles with emotional eating or struggles with cravings, like me, like I will be so transparent and tell you that like I have a really hard time knowing that I'm not allowed to eat certain foods. Mm-hmm. That's why I know that 2B Mindset is something that I need to explore, because there's so much mindset work for me that has to go into this. So I'm really excited for myself to kind of dive into the 2B Mindset. So I hope that kind of compares the two. Going back to what I said earlier though, you guys, like these are both amazing nutrition programs. I have lost 80 pounds on the Portion Fix. I've gained a lot of it back, not because the program stopped working, but because I stopped working the program. But it is a phenomenal option as well. So if you are brand new to Beachbody and you have no idea what any of this is, 99% of the people will start with Portion Fix and it'll work super well for them. But for those of you who are working on changing your mindset, getting past some of the struggles or the plateaus that you've been on, 2B Mindset is a really, really great option for you. And because the next question that all of you will ask is how much does it cost? Can you guys see that graphic there? Okay. Yeah, can you guys see that? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So new customers can get this as part of a challenge pack, which will come with the whole 2B Mindset program and a month of Shakeology. Shakeology is the nutrient-dense meal replacement shakes that Ashleigh was talking about. This is going to replace one meal every day, and it has more vitamins and minerals than you could ever get your hands on anywhere else. You could also get it as a bigger challenge pack, which has 2B Mindset program and the Shakeology, as well as a 12-month subscription to BOD, which is Beachbody On Demand. Beachbody On Demand is our equivalent of Netflix for fitness videos, which I mentioned at the beginning. This is the virtual gym. This is the go-to. This is the place where you're going to go to get all these workouts in that will help to supplement these nutrition programs. And then current clients have a few different options. Say you're someone who already has Beachbody On Demand. You can get this is all Canadian pricing, by the way. I should have started with that. I know there's a lot of Melanie's coaches on here who are from the States. A bunch of us are Canadian, so I did this in Canadian pricing. You can with chat with the coach that invited you here to get the US or UK pricing. But in Canada, $186 for a challenge pack, and that will get you the whole entire program, and the tracker and a water bottle, and a month of Shakeology. And that's a wicked deal because Shakeology on its own is like $185. So to me, that's a no-brainer. For those people who want just the 2B mindset and the accessories, so the water bottle, the tracker, hang on here, that's 108. And then to get digital access, oh, I have a typo, digital access only for 2B mindset. So you'll get all of the videos, all of the program materials. Digital access only is 67. Okay, so the pricing is Canadian. Coaches get 25% off. So if you're signed up as a discount coach, these coaches are way less, or a working coach, or whatever the case may be. That is just a very brief overview of the pricing packaging options. Okay, let me just see if there's any other questions. Me too. Don't tell me I can't have something because I just want it more. And you are preaching to the choir, sister. I am like the very same way. I'm like, anyways, that's a whole other conversation. I'm like the most goody two shoes, but tell me I can't have something and like I will tell you that I will have it. Anyways, anyhow, any other questions before we wrap things up, you guys? I hope that we have kind of highlighted the benefits of both of these programs and 2B mindset and how it's different than the portion fix. Again, I can't say it enough. They're both amazing and they're both going to work for you, and you're going to feel amazing with both. And if weight loss is your goal, you're going to lose weight on both. So you can't go wrong with either. I'm so grateful to Ashleigh for sharing her story and letting us be a part of this. Answered all my questions. Okay, any other questions anybody else has? I'm going to make sure I share a recording of this so you guys can watch it back or share it with your teams or anybody who may be interested. Awesome. Okay, so make sure that you reach out to the coach that invited you here today. If you have any other questions, reach out and let them know. We'd be glad to get you started. I know for my people, my team, my coaches, my customers, I'm actually going to run a 2B mindset only group in June. And so what I'm going to do for June, and Ashleigh's so excited because she was like so excited when I told her this, I'm going to create a little success pod for my coaches and my customers for June. And we are going to go all freaking in 2B mindset. We're going to chat every day. We're going to be sharing our trackers. We're going to be sharing our meals. And we are going to really hold each other accountable and work on our mindset most. So if you are part of my team or my downline, you can certainly reach out to me and get in on that June 1st challenge group. We're going to go June 1st to July 1st, and we're going to make big things happen with 2B Mindset. I'm super excited. And again, thank you so much, Ashleigh, for sharing with us. Thank you guys for spending your Monday evening with us, and reach out to the coach that invited you, and we'll get you some answers. Okay? Bye, guys. Thank you so much.